Hi everyone and welcome back. For today's video we will be going through my completely finished commonplace book. I am super excited to finally have this done, and I do believe that this is my first ever completely finished notebook journal ever. It's only 64 pages. I say only, that's a lot of pages, but I'm aware that a lot of journals and notebooks have more than that. But to completely fill up 64 pages is kind of insane to me. So it's really cool to just have this finished completely. And I was able to finish it on December 31st. So it just felt like the perfect wrap up of the end of the year. And I put this cool little label on the front. I got a label maker for Christmas. So I thought I'd put it to use so I can see when I pull the journal out, once I put it away. I think the cool people say archive. Still learning the journaling lingo, but I can easily pull it out and see on the cover the dates that I was using it. So I thought we could just do a cool flip through. Some pages I might talk about, others I might just go over quickly. I just kind of wanted to show how I used it, the topics that I covered in it, how I decorated, because I know I personally love videos like that just to get inspiration and also just to see what other people are writing about, especially in days where I'm like, I want to journal, but I have no clue what to sit down and write. And so there is a huge combination of things in this book. So I thought it could be useful, maybe provide some inspiration, etc., etc. So let's jump in and have some fun. So on the very first page, I just have my key and a little bit of a why I'm starting this journal. My key, I used this one mostly. I did a lot of brain dumping and just yapping in this journal. But I do have, so it's personal brain dump or any list, special interest, quotes, articles, tarot, movies, books, music, and then health and anything related to autism. So you will see these color-coded marks in the upper corner as we go. And that's just what that is meaning, so that as I flip through, I can see, you know, what the topic of the page was. And if I'm looking for something specific, that can help. So my very first page in here had to be dedicated to my girly, Mary Shelley, one of my favorite human beings ever. I have always had a fascination with Mary Shelley, and so I thought I had to dedicate my first page to her. So we just kind of have a very quick, short synopsis of some key points in her life. I found some goofy, silly things on Twitter and Tumblr that I wanted to include. And this is a little bit messy. I'm still trying to figure out my layout at this point. But here we move into this is me just talking, just yapping about personal thoughts. I included like the burnt toast theory, so I'm bringing in some quotes and things like that. And these are just images I found on Instagram or Tumblr. This is Petite Gloom or Megan Rhiannon on YouTube. This is when we finished the Scream franchise. So I went through and rated my favorites. This is me just yapping. Favorite song of the moment, so I had to include it. This is when I start getting more into the collage style. I really like this page because I think this is when I first start really finding what I'm enjoying with decorating. And you'll see a lot of these cards throughout. I've been collecting them throughout this last half of the year, and I just love how the cards look, so I was popping them in whenever I unboxed one of them. This is me planning out my office redecoration, renovation thing. Just some inspo pictures and kind of how I wanted to lay out my office. We have some testers over here. I got some new washi tape in, my first fountain pens. This was the day that we got our kitten Nell. And we are getting into the spooky times. So we have some October Halloween pages coming up, which are my favorites. This is a review of, well, no, not a review. This is, sorry, I'd watched Ginger Snaps, and I've always had a fascination with werewolves, and specifically werewolves and gender. So I was a gender studies minor in college, and so for one of my classes I wrote a whole paper about how women are portrayed in media as werewolves and how it's different than men. A little fascination of mine, if you will. So I had found a article and I liked some things that it said. Oh no, the kitten has come into the room and she has found a toy. Okay, so yeah, just I found an article that I liked, wanted to write down some of the quotes in it, and we had just watched Ginger Snap, so I liked the correlation of it. Here is me planning out my Hobonichi weeks, just how I plan to use it. Here I'm just getting some feels out. Life was happening. I needed to just yap. This is some tarot spreads that I did. I really liked how I popped this in, because what I had done is I wrote all of this first, whereas I usually decorate first, so I know where to write, if that makes sense. But here I'd written this entire page and I really wanted some deco, so I came in and taped in this little bunny. Here is my fall playlist. I love this page. This is one of my favorites. Just super fun. And then this was the day of Halloween, so I just journaled about what we were doing. Just some more talking, the little cards. I like the deco on these too. It's fun. As you can see, I love the crisscross of the washi. I don't know why I do it in all of my journals. I think it just gives me a nice space, and I can move it around, and it kind of gives me a corner space to play with, if that makes sense. It just works for my brain. I like it. I have pinned some of the pages together because it's more personal info. So here I'm just talking about how much I've been enjoying journaling and my love for winter. I'm a winter girly, so had to talk about that. This was a quote I found on Tumblr, Haunted Inkwell on Tumblr, about Gothic horror, and I just really liked it. I thought it was cool, and I wanted to be able to come back and read it again and see it, so I popped it in here. This is when we hit 1K on YouTube. This is when I watched Jane Eyre. So she had to get a whole page. I loved the movie so much. So I did a little collage, popped some quotes in that I liked. This is a whole quote as well. And I really liked how this turned out, actually. And I like this was random. I don't think I've ever done, like, I don't know, it's very simple. I just pasted this over in the corner, but I like how it kind of meshes together, if that makes sense. Here we are on Thanksgiving. And a useful tool is, I'm very active on Tumblr and Instagram and things like that. And so whenever I see a photo that just either on my explore page or for you page, whatever, that like relates to me. So I'd seen this and it says I've been doing life differently than other people my age, and that's okay. I usually will save it, and that kind of gives me a journal prompt, if that makes sense. So I have a bunch of images like this that I relate to, and when I saw it, I was like, I already know what I could journal about. And if there's ever a day where I'm wanting to journal, like sit down and journal, but I don't necessarily know what I want to journal about, I will pull out these images and pick one that I'm feeling strongly about that day. So this was one of those days where I was really wanting to journal, but didn't have a specific thing. Like, it was a boring day, nothing happened that day. And so I used one of those images, and that's really fun to do. Recommend. Here's some tarot, our first snow day. some more tarot, and then this is a quote that a friend of mine sent to me. It's actually I'm Like Other Girls by Spoken Sincerely, and I believe it was on Instagram, but I just really liked it. And just some more blabbing here. I had a good day, so I just talked about how good of a day it was, and this is when my boyfriend surprised me with a trip to London, and so I had to do a spread on that, obviously. And we're getting to the end. We're in December now, mid-December, and I was really wanting to move into my Hobonichi weeks and finish this up, just because I was so close to the end that it kind of was like, not that I was tired of this journal. I've loved using this so much, but I was so close to the end that I was like, I'm just ready for it to be complete so I can see it finished, if that makes sense. So this is me talking about that, and then this is me talking about my small business and some hiccups that we've been having. I love the decoration on this page. I think it turned out really cool. I love me a swirl and some stars. I just think it's fun. Here is a poem I found on Tumblr. It's about growing old. I liked it. And then I have had a fascination with the Yule cat, especially with this image because it looks just like my cat Nell, our kitten. I mean, like identical. Like I have a picture of her standing like that and I put it side by side, and it is so funny to me. So I found some articles on the Yule cat, wrote down some things on it. Thought it was cool. Here's my winter playlist. I was listening to a lot of Gigi Perez, so they got the Star of Honor. And these are all my own stickers, which are up on my Etsy if you are interested. And we are getting close to my Christmas break here. So this is me talking about how excited I am for it. This is me struggling with my sleeping. We get to Christmas. So this is just me journaling about the holiday season. This was Christmas Eve. This is a lot of Megan Rhiannon images. And then this is Strawberry Moth, I believe. I'm a part of their Patreon, and this is one of their Patreon stickers. And we have Christmas Day. This is Strawberry Moth as well. Some tarot, and then I didn't have a ton to write about, and I was wanting to finish by the 31st. So I kind of talked about, I believe this was after therapy. So I kind of just talked about what we were discussing in therapy, talked about my little small business, and then I finished up the journal with this 2-page spread, just saying how much I've loved journaling, how much I've loved using this journal, and talking a little bit about 2025. And I put a big quote over here from Virginia Woolf about journaling and diaries and things like that I thought was really cool. And then the very last page, I thought I didn't really want to write on this page. I don't know why. I kind of wanted it to be like an end cap. And so I really liked this image from Petite Gloom or Megan Rhiannon that had 2024, because it was kind of like it was the last day of 2024, kind of a way to close the book on it, if that makes sense. So that's it. This is my baby. I'm so proud. It's so fluffy and chunky, and I love it, and it just makes me so happy, and I'm just so happy to have it finished. So highly recommend if you're just getting into journaling and commonplacing and things like that, to get a field note. I thought it was a really good size to start off with. It wasn't too daunting, but also not too small of a page. And they have a bunch of different types. So I liked the black cover, so I got the dot grid, but there's all kinds of different styles and types and things like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this filled notes, and it did come in a pack of 2, so I have the option to start another if I need to. I don't know if I will, just because I have my weeks and my cousin, but the option's there. So very happy. I love it. It makes my soul happy. So yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And I will see you all next time. Bye!